Studying is an important part of our lives that everyone has to go through, no matter if you're in school, university, or in the workplace. And oftentimes, studying can also dramatically affect our future, such as getting good grades in school. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like you totally understand a topic when you're in class, but then 2 days later, when you come back to the same topic, it's completely gone? You may feel like there's a little part of it left in your brain, but you can't quite grasp it. And then fast forward a bit, you find yourself studying the same old thing again. So the reason I'm telling you this is because I want to share 4 tips and tricks that has significantly helped me in my journey of studying and getting good grades. So tip number 1 is to package your information. So the idea is inside your brain, you should have a small key that can be used to access a larger piece of information that is stored somewhere else. So to better understand this, let's take a look at an oversimplified diagram of our brain. So all the dots here are pieces of memory, and the closer they are to the center, the easier it is for us to access them. So what I see a lot of people try to do is they try to store an entire chapter near the center of the circle. But the reality is this is not an efficient way of studying because it relies on memorization. So instead of having the whole large information near the center of your brain, you should have a small key that can be used to access the larger piece of information that is stored a little bit further away. So this makes everything more efficient and it takes less space in your brain. So this key can be anything that has the ability to spark your brain and tell it to recall the larger piece of information stored elsewhere. It can be a picture, it can be a sentence, or it can even be a word. So now that you understand the rough idea, let's take a closer look at how you can do this. So tip number 2 is to use logic. When you're learning something new, for example, in a lecture, try to truly understand why. Why is this being said? Why is this the optimal solution? What's the logic behind this? Why can't we do this instead? Why can't we do that instead? And once you truly understand why, these gears will be formed in your head. And you've likely experienced this before. It's the moment where everything sort of clicks in and a huge weight has been lifted off your shoulders. So this means that just remembering one gear leads to another, and then the next, and then the following, and so on and so on. And this is actually the key that I mentioned previously. By just thinking of the first small gear, you're able to access a much larger piece of information that is stored on a trail behind it. It's kind of like a chain reaction where one thing leads to the next, and so on. And the most important part is logic is what's holding these gears together. So really take the time to understand the logic, because when you truly understand it, you won't have to memorize anymore. Tip number 3 is to understand the big picture. So a lot of times it can be very helpful to take a step back and look at what's going on. You should be able to understand where you are, how your topic relates to other topic, and overall the purpose of your topic in the bigger picture. Understand how your topic contributes to the whole field. Ultimately, by understanding the bigger picture, you are strengthening the logic that is holding the gears together. Last but not least, tip number 4 is to be curious. So the idea behind this whole tip is when you look up information during the moment you're curious about something, you are more likely to remember that piece of information. So you should definitely follow your curiosity, dive down rabbit holes, and fill that void in your brain. No matter how distant or unrelated your curiosity may seem, I fully encourage you to follow it because this can make your passion of learning grow and ultimately make you a better student. So those are the 4 tips that I wanted to share. And I absolutely believe that anyone can be good at studying. So take your time, try them out, and have fun.